Okay.
Good day, loves.
YouTube.
There.
Yeah. What up? Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. We are live on all three. Hopefully y'all are doing well.
Welcome back. This is Flow and Fitness Syncing Your Cycle for Optimal Workout Plans. Today on the Holistic Freedom Secrets podcast, we're in episode 64. And I'm Coach Tensi.
I'm Coach Soul. What's up, guys? Hopefully everybody got to see Coach Tensi's really cool video yesterday. You can still go to that video and comment FOG for the top 10 recommendations for dealing with brain fog as a working mom.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a working mom, you can comment FOG, get the top 10 recommendations, and send them to your working mom or a working mom that you know.
Yeah.
Other than that, hopefully y'all are doing well today. Of course, in the Holistic Freedom Secrets podcast, we follow our 5-prong healing system, which consists of the concepts be, cleanse, fuel, move, and shine 5 days a week. Today is Thursday, so it's move day. We're talking about, as she said, cycle syncing for optimal workout plans, specifically for women, because men can follow it for variety, for like purposes of keeping things in a variety, but we don't have to do so for optimal workout plans, as we have a 24-hour cycle versus about 30-day cycle.
So if you're a guy, you could follow this verbatim, or especially if you're training towards certain goals, you can consolidate it from a month back into a week. Yeah.
But it's essentially how women can sync their workouts with menstrual cycles to achieve fitness goals effectively, most effectively, optimally, if you will, using the concept that we created called the Thrive Zone, which is the Thrive Zone represents the sort of meeting place in actions that you love, you're called to or ready for, and you need.
Yeah.
So where those three things meet is your Thrive Zone. And when you can sync up your cycle with your Thrive Zone in regard to your workout goals or your fitness goals or your weight loss goals, these things that, involve strength goals, right? Your ability to lift a certain amount of weight or whatever goals,
or even your detox goals,
run a certain distance goals, detox goals.
Yeah, because you got to sweat. You got to move your body if you're trying to heal from any sort of chronic illness or reverse any sort of autoimmune condition. It requires the opening up of the detox pathway. So that's why movement is so important.
When you're able to do that in the Thrive Zone, then you're not only optimizing mentally, emotionally, physically, but you're adding in a spiritual concept. You're adding in a spiritual connection to it. So very, very important to also adhere to those actions that you love, you need, and that you're called to or ready for.
Yeah, so before we get further into strategy, let me tell you a little bit of a story. Whenever I think back through my journey and all of the years of just endlessly working out, where when I would start doing something new, I'd be on it. Like I'd be out the gate, like, yeah, every day doing HIIT workouts. Okay, medium intensity. Okay, low intensity sometimes, medium intensity, high intensity. Let's go every day. Same type of thing. And I would kind of reach this point where I would notice that I kind of burn myself out in certain ways, or get bored of doing the same thing, or just distract myself into doing other things, because secretly I wasn't staying in my zone of fulfillment of what I felt like I needed to be doing at any given day in the month. And it wasn't until I came across an audiobook called Fast Like a Girl, where I learned the concept of cycle syncing, of syncing up my workouts according to what I need hormonally in a given month. And so cycle syncing does not apply only to women that have a menstrual cycle. That's cool. If you bleed or if you don't bleed anymore, it doesn't matter, because everyone's bodies, if you're a woman in a woman's body, you need to do a uh, following of the patterns and the dance of your hormones, and that leads us through the 4 different cycles. So there's a four phases to a healthy menstrual cycle. And when we're looking through the lens of fitness and of moving our bodies, what intentionally moving our bodies, it's important to sync up to meet the needs of the hormones when they're going to need to be building up in order to meet the needs of our health overall, so that we're not along the way finding that we're losing hair on our head. We're not lacking sleep. We're not all bloated and having brain fog and low energy and all of that. And we're not all irritable and anxious or feeling depressed and all of that, letting that affect things. So when we do stuff outside of the phase that it's optimal for, it becomes really clunky and crunchy, because our hormones are like, this is not what I need right now. Okay. This is too much or it's too little, right? This is just not what I need right now. And that's why it's so important. So I was discovering this and testing and trying out different things and noticing, oh my gosh, what phase of the cycle am I in? And then different phases doing the thing that met the needs of that cycle, and applying it into my Thrive Zone, because I was like, I don't want to feel unfulfilled anymore. I just really want to get into a space to where I feel like I'm doing stuff that I love, and I got some variety, and it's bringing me some fun and some joy to do it, even though it's hard, and spin it that way. So I would come from it and ask myself certain questions from my Thrive Zone. So we're going to get into a little bit of unpacking how we can do this,
Yeah,
like
just a
what
little
it
bit.
is, what the strategy is, what the phases are, and then we're not going to be able to dive into all the tactics because we would need hours.
Right. You got a couple days?
Yeah, you got a couple days.
So, okay. So the 4 phases, as they are broken down in Fast Like a Girl and in all of the work by Dr. Mindy Pelz, are your first power phase, your manifestation phase, your second power phase, and your nurture phase.
And there's a little,
and they're not timed exactly the same as the menstrual phase, follicular phase, ovulatory phase, and luteal phase. They're timed quite differently, actually. And so the first power phase starts on the first bleeding day, not the spotting day, but the first day that there's an actual flow. If you are menstruating, or you can time it if you're after a point in your life, or for whatever reason you don't have a cycle right now, pregnant, whatever, you can sync it with the phases of the moon, which would be the new moon.
That's what I do because I'm nursing.
So the first power phase, you want to focus on
cardio. Cardio is great for the power phases because estrogen needs to start building up to reach her peak during ovulation. So we really focus on, like, cut all the fluff, focus in on building up estrogen, which is like the social butterfly of the hormone. She's like very wanting to be talkative and all the things. And when we tap into her, what really fuels her up is when we sync our workout plans to have cardio. So that high intensity interval training might be the vibe for you.
Right, and stamina, right? Because everything that's a stamina workout is a cardio workout. So swimming, running, biking, hiking up steep places,
dancing, hula
um,
hooping.
maybe for a long time, yeah.
Yeah,
um,
you know.
and then certainly calisthenics, like you said, hit workouts, all target heart rate, cardio.
Yeah.
Then after your first power phase, when you reach days 11 through, or excuse me, days
11,
11 through 16. There we go.
15, 11 through 15.
11 through 15 ish. You have a manifestation phase where I believe estrogen, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone are all peaking for women.
So estrogen comes to her peak in a natural cycle. This is when you'd be ovulating if you still ovulate right now. And testosterone peaks for women at this one part in the phase, and that brings a drive. That's the timing to really get into strength. And then progesterone has like two peaks. It's not like the big peak, but it's like starting to peak a little bit for the first time, and then it'll have a bigger peak later.
So
yeah, these are just big words that most of us, when we hear them, we weren't taught what they really mean.
Right.
So it's kind of like, if you think of it, estrogen's the social butterfly, testosterone's the drive and strength building, muscle building vibe, and then progesterone is the zened out, just going for a nature walk or a hike, just doing some gentle yoga type vibe. Okay, so right now testosterone's at its peak, which is the lift weights a little more, even if it's calisthenics. Getting more into putting your whole body weight on it is going to be great for your workouts. So strength building this is the time to focus on your strength building workouts.
Strength building. So okay, because testosterone is peaking and estrogen has peaked, and so like she said, lifting weights, resistance training, or if you're just doing body weight, then making sure that your form is correct so that you get all of the benefits of whatever pose or movement that you're doing.
Yeah.
After that phase, we have days 16 through 20, which is your second power phase, which we already talked about what is best for the power phase, which is cardio.
Yeah, 16 through 19, it's just when your hormones dip again. So, of course, with these timings, it may be different. Well, it will likely be a little different, especially if you are a cycling woman still, to where what that means is you still get your bleed and you can track your cycle. You can chart it out. The timing may differ for you. But right after you're done ovulating is when it really starts with this next power phase, because you can go hard with cardio when your hormones start to like come down again. When hormones are low, you can go a little harder. Okay. When they are all peaking, except for what we talked about with testosterone, you can't go the hardest that you've ever gone per se when it comes to cardio, but you gotta get into it. So this third phase is just mirroring the first phase for the most part. But one distinct difference that I would say between days 16 to 19-ish and
1 to
10 is that those first 3 days of your cycle, 1 to 3, if you're bleeding, you may want to kind of like ease your way into movements, especially if you are experiencing like a lot of crazy heavy symptoms, depending on how you treated yourself the cycle before. Yeah, it's kind of like the report card. So yeah, you might want to ease into some of the going hard, high intensity cardio if that's what your body's telling you to do.
And then last but not least is the nurture phase, which is day 20 through the rest of your cycle until it restarts. And so you go back to the new moon, or you are on the first day of bleeding again. And that's a phase for, like she said, where progesterone, pardon me, I keep wanting to call it progesterone is at its highest peak, which is the zenned out hormone. So you don't want to go um, berserk on any type of workout. But if you do want to move in a way that you're sweating and breathing a little harder than normal uh, every day for at least 10 minutes, then you go for a walk, especially if there's some good sunlight and some good sweat light, if you will, uh, and do things that are like that, right? You can go biking, but maybe not up all the steepest hills. Um, uh, Go outside and do something is my recommendation, because it's hard for me to think about things in terms of fitness that aren't like doing fitness if you're inside. But taking walks and taking bike rides, light jogs, um, stuff like that, you can do outside all day long. So
Yeah, yoga, walking, hiking. It's good to get like the steepness, but you're just keeping it low intensity for you. So if you go up the side of a hill or a mountain and you're like out of breath, then maybe that's not low intensity. It's not low intensity for you. So you'd back up off of that intense of a hike while you're in your nurture phase until it becomes low intensity for you. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, or if you have any questions, put them down in the comments so that we can kind of respond to you and clear that up for you. But so let's kind of like recap maybe.
well, I'm gonna leave the rest of the episode for you, and I'm gonna get on my smoothie bowl and probiotics. Y'all remember those probiotics that we talked about? If you don't know, go check out all the fuel episodes, all of them. But I'm gonna go get on my food, because to sustain renting this apartment, we gotta make things happen, and I need to be places on time. So
I thought you were on call. No.
things change.
Oh, okay. Well, all right, then let's go ahead and wrap this up actually, because we already talked about all the things. Thanks.
Well, you didn't sync the Thrive Zone with it in this episode yet.
Got you. Okay, so let's sync the Thrive Zone. We keep this super simple. So just like in me sharing at the beginning of the episode how I checked in with myself and asked like, okay, what do I need? What would I love to experience? And what am I ready for? So this is where if you have anything to write with, it'd be really good to just kind of like draw 3 circles real quick. Kind of like a Venn diagram. There's one up top, there's 2 on the sides, on the bottom, and they're all overlapping each other. And your Thrive Zone is where all 3 of them overlap. So you got one that's like what you love. So considering what current ways to exercise that are for cardio, that are for building strength, and that are for, just like low intense chilling out, are you really excited about doing? Or what do you love to do? How do you like to move your body? How would you love to move your body that you haven't done it before? Like there's aerial hoop, there's rollerblading, there's skateboarding, there's like all different kind of ways to think outside the box. Team sports, like think through how would you love to move your body? Martial arts, the list can go on and on and on. Boxing, anyway, we can keep thinking of things. So really starting to brainstorm that. And then what are some things that you know that you need? We covered what we need in terms of the body's requirements when it comes to exercising. So cardio in the power phases, strength training in the manifestation phase, and then nurture is more of the low intensity, relax inducing types of movement. And when it comes to what you're ready for, really contemplate like, okay, so your level of fitness, what you have access to in terms of energy, what you have access to in terms of your physical ability, how would you need to adapt things, right? So maybe if you are in a wheelchair, you might do adaptive yoga, or you might do adaptive fitness to where in your strength training, if you really love tennis, then um, for example, power phase, you could do adaptive tennis. If you really love yoga, then you can do like power yoga, where you really are focusing on your body weight, adaptive power yoga in your strength training things. And then, or really getting into dumbbells for upper body workouts. And then when it comes to your nurture phase, you might really hone in on those gentle stretches, getting into whatever's low intensity for you, where you can get out in nature and kind of move um, according to what your level of fitness is, right? Does that make sense? Let me know. So that's how I would sync it up to the Thrive Zone. And the main key here is to listen to your body, to begin to intuitively tap into what your body needs. And this is done through the Thrive Zone, through these exercises of writing out or really reflecting on and coming up with your own plan according to this lens. This is what we're considering, because this is what makes it sustainable. If you don't love it, you're not going to keep doing it because it's going to be a waste of time. It doesn't push you toward your vision of freedom. If it doesn't push you toward your vision of freedom, then it's not going to help you, right? So, really contemplating what ways are you moving in your ideal life for yourself. So, yeah, hope that this helped. We got into a lot today, and I want to encourage you to jot down some ideas in the comments so that everyone can see. Put down an idea of what's a way that you can move that you maybe hadn't thought of before. Maybe you do it already, but what are some different ways that you move your body to that are in your Thrive Zone? Yeah. So this is a way to hold each other accountable. Put it down in the comments. I would love to see it. And I can't wait to cheer you on. I would love to continue to build community. And yeah, so whether you're watching live or the replay, comment down below so that we can be alongside the journey with you. And we'll see you next time. Tomorrow we have a really great episode. We're getting into Shine, which is the fifth element of our 5-prong healing system. Sharing honest, insightful, and nourishing expressions is what shining is all about. So really tending into the relationships and leaning into community and building all of that up. So really cool. We'll catch you tomorrow on Friday for our Shine episode. And in the meantime, take good care, loves. We'll see you next time. Peace. I'll see you soon, YouTube and Facebook.